All righty then. Welcome, everybody. Let's get right to it. Welcome to Pillow Talk with Pugs and Parker. Heard every Monday through Thursday right here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. It's time to go to the pad. Let's bring them in. Oh, yeah, I do a noon show every day, Monday through Friday. I do that one alone. But here, when we get into the deep innings, got to go to the pen. I'm all talked out. I need somebody to talk to. And who's that person? James Aloysius Parker, ladies and gentlemen. There he goes.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing?
Serenity now, James. It's another one of them evenings for me.
What's going on? What is it?
Well, first of all, I just...
Why does this feel kid-related already?
It's not kid-related. No,
okay.
My kid's
That's
awesome.
the kind of exasperation that kids bring you to.
No, it's also the kind of exasperation that people, just other carbon-based life forms who are out there walking around with opinions, sometimes opinions about me. You know, I don't need.
Yeah, wait. You didn't go to the hot bar again, did you, at Whole Foods?
No, that wasn't the problem.
That was an ass kicking.
All right, so yeah, it was. Yeah, the hot bar kicked my ass. That is a no. Okay, so just off the top, and this isn't related to my irritation. This is just something that I just noticed. So, you know how like when you, sometimes you're on Facebook or Twitter and you see that I've put something out there that says, "Hey, coming up on the show," and then you like it and you maybe have a comment on it, and I really do appreciate that. That's so fucking nice. But you can share it. You can share it too. Nobody shares anything, James. It is like the most difficult thing in the world to get somebody to do. You can have I'm trying to promote the show here. You get like 40 likes. Like. Yeah, just to the right of that like is a little thing. Looks like this. Looks like two. You know what I mean? It's like a little. And it means you can share it. It means you can help the show. So please, it's been a year now. Somebody said to me once, they said, dude, getting people to share something is so difficult. And what's crazy about it, it is literally the least they can do. I mean, if you're trying to help.
No lower level of effort.
No.
There's nothing you can do that requires less effort than just liking.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, look, that's nice. But I mean, the idea is on social media with these shows that stream is that it becomes sort of this domino effect of publicity because the people who like it and support it then share it. And maybe they share it and 10 people see it. And maybe just one of those people is now a fan. And then maybe someday they'll share. Nope, I'm so frustrated by the lack of share. That's not why, but that's not my problem, James. I got a problem with Christiane Amanpour. I want to talk about that with you tonight. I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on with her.
Not at all. I hadn't even heard that name in a couple years.
She's just being performative. She's just being me.
You got a helmet again?
No. It's about something she wouldn't put on her head. Okay, so we'll talk about that.
I know nothing about this. I like that.
But James, you know what? I need a sorbet. You want to just open up with your monologue, and then after your monologue, I can tell you what the hell this is all about. You know what I mean? Then I'll tell you why I am so on edge today. I mean, I was in such a good mood, James. Such a good mood.
Okay. Monologue it is.
All right. So we're going to do a monologue. I should have, before I said we should do a monologue, I probably should have prepared for the monologue, right? No, instead of, here we go.
You got to open all your sound effects one by one.
Yeah, that's right. I do. You got a problem with that? By the way, I clicked it like 5 seconds ago. 5 seconds ago, I clicked it. And then
Why do you always brag about how much your computer setup sucks?
I don't know. I guess you're going to want the center square.
Of course.
All right.
I'd like the stage, please. Thank you.
There it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Comfort Nest Comedy Lounge stage, a staple here on Thursday nights. He's the king of comedy. offering you up his hot takes on all the day's news. We call it the monologue, ladies and gentlemen, James Filipino Parker.
All right. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or how to run your own show here, but wouldn't it be nice if, like, right here it said like James Parker?
No.
I
It would be
get that.
self-aggrandizing, and we're not about that.
I'll put it in my own graphic then. All right. According to a new study, methamphetamine in rivers. Have you seen this? It's turned up in rivers. This meth. It's turning fish into addicts. Sadly, many young fish are exposed to meth in schools.
See what he did there? Because that's where fish hang out.
Dude, the ladies love it when I do that. In Houghton, Louisiana, a man and his girlfriend were arrested for stealing 102 brass vases from a cemetery. Prosecutors say it's a grave offense.
Oh my God, another one? I'm just gonna CSI you to death tonight.
Today's the first day of autumn. Last night was the equinox, equal night.
No, actually, the equinox was just about an hour ago.
Okay. Well, I mean, the night that was the same length as the day, I think was that last night or tonight? Anyway,
today was 8 o'clock tonight.
Okay. Today's the first day of autumn. So we're already getting into the spirit around here. For example, in Mesquite, they're selling pumpkin spice meth.
Hey, would I ruin your joke if I corrected you and said, no, today until 8 o'clock was the last day of summer. We are now, as of 8 o'clock tonight, into autumn.
Yeah, I think Mesquite's just leaning into it a little early. Okay. Today is also, if you check your calendar, folks, today is also Elephant Appreciation Day. No, this is not a Pugs mom joke. But I was just gonna say, if you see an elephant, just say thank you. You know, next.
Okay.
Should have been a Pugs mom joke. I avoided it. I had it there. I could have done a Rachel joke. I could have done a Whoopi Goldberg joke.
Bunch of conservationists are here in the audience.
No, look, you're applauding me is what you're doing and the growth in my maturity. So happy birthday to Joan Jett. I don't want to say she's getting old, but she has a new song called I Love Rocking Chairs.
Oh, look at that, because she's old. You can almost predict his old rock star jokes.
Crowd loves me today. And a belated happy birthday. I missed this one yesterday to singer Faith Hill, more like Faith Over the Hill.
I like that one. No, except I disagree. Hi. Saw a picture of Faith Hill celebrating her birthday last night. Beauty sticks, man. I'm serious. If you take care of it, beauty sticks. She is still beautiful. She is a beautiful woman.
Yeah, I think money helps.
Yeah, money definitely helps celebrity, having a personal stylist. And
money seems to like put a little bit of weight on one side of the scale, like so many of these ladies that you see that are like 50 or 60 and just absolutely beautiful. They kind of tend to skew toward the higher income demos.
Absolutely.
To put it in radio terms.
Super wealthy. And they've got, think of it, because they've got two superstar incomes, because both of them on their own would be like the richest people in the neighborhood, right? If Faith Hill Faith Hill is that her name? Faith Hill? Yeah. Faith Hill, if she was just by herself living off that Faith Hill Christian rock money, she'd be filthy ridiculous. But then, you get the Tim McGraw bank account also involved there. So we're talking about two revenue streams that are gorgeous. All right.
Oh, Byron, he said, suck it, James. He always gets his sand in his vagina when I make a joke about Mesquite.
Okay. Noted. He is the defender of Mesquite.
No, I appreciate that he likes to defend the honor of Mesquite. Someone out there at least fighting for their good name. Thank you, Byron. I actually see that as a noble effort that you do. At least you care. He probably actually shares posts,
You said honor of Mesquite.
I know. Isn't that great?
Like they got honor out there.
Byron's the last one. He's the last guy upholding the honor of Mesquite.
What's worse, Mesquite or Garland? Which one is worse?
Mesquite, Jesus God.
Mesquite's worse than Garland?
Of course.
Really?
No, and look, it's just because it's the further you get up at that clock to Plano, the more it's the spectrum. From Plano to Mesquite is the perfect spectrum of of white middle class, because it goes from Plano to Richardson to Garland to Mesquite.
I don't know. My kid lives in Plano. He lives in a really nice neighborhood.
I know. I'm saying Plano's the top
I
of
wouldn't
the
compare that part of Plano to Garland or Mesquite. It's a little bit nicer, I think.
I know. And
Newer, I should say.
Look. Richardson is is between Garland and Plano, and it's like exactly halfway between on the spectrum, Garland and Plano.
Okay.
It's bigger than Garland, but it's more than Plano. And so it is just like seeing a spectrum. It is like seeing the Roy G. Biv coming off the Pink Floyd album right there on the northeast of the Metroplex.
Let me ask you, where does Carrollton fit into all this?
Yeah, so Carrollton is sort of shifting because Farmers Branch decided it was going to turn Hispanic. And
did they make that conscious decision?
Yeah, they really leaned into it. So look, the people who live in and work in Plano and Addison, I mean, the people who work in Plano and Addison got to live somewhere. And I have family in Farmers Branch. I have like third cousins that live over there. And so Carrollton is in this weird squeeze where the east of Carrollton is sort of turning into Farmers Branch, but the west of Carrollton is sort of turning into that Louisville, Flower Mountain, Grapevine, really Capel sort of.
That stuff to me is all one big hodgepodge. Like if Farmers Branch, Carrollton, Addison, and Richardson, that's all just one hodgepodge. I don't know whether I can be any. I don't know. I don't ever know which one I'm in. Like, are we in?
Oh, you can't tell by looking. You definitely can't tell by looking. It all looks the same. The fun part about that little strata of society is what Mike Judge nailed in King of the Hill, because Arlen is Garland, obviously.
Right, yeah.
And that's where kind of Mike Judge is sort of from. And those characters are based off what he just literally saw living in that area of the Metroplex. And he nailed it, because it's not all just bum Texans. There's Bill Daughtry, who's from the outside of Lafayette. There's a random Cajun in there. And then there's the random dude next door who's from like Laos or Cambodia or something. Where's Khan from? Sea Laotian?
Yeah, Vietnamese, something like that.
And that's very much what it is to live in Garland. There's just some random immigrant, and there's a dude from Louisiana, and there's a guy from the country, and then there's a couple of locals, and that's your crew.
That was a great show, but I have a weird sort of view of that show, because when that show was on, King of the Hill, we're talking about, when that show was on, everybody watched it. Oh, I see King of the Hill last night. It was, very fun. People buzzed about it. I don't know anybody in the Midwest who watched that show. It was they all watched The Simpsons, but it's like I think that show, the show was a great show. I'm telling you, I love that show. But I think that it connects so deeply to the Texas heart that I think it was much more buzzed about and talked about here, simply because of location. And there's the Chicago equivalent to that would be the Showtime show Shameless. Like, nobody outside of Chicago loves the show Shameless. Maybe they do, because it ran for 11 seasons. But because it tags that South Side Irish thing that I'm from so much, everybody I know in that area loves that show. Whereas you come down here and it's like, you watch Shameless, I don't get it. I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand that. And I wonder if maybe that's the same thing with King of the Hill. Like, I wonder if some dude in New Jersey gets why King of the Hill is as funny as maybe somebody in Frisco might get why King of the Hill is so funny. You know what I mean? Because it's so
well, some of those characters don't even
the zeitgeist of the era area.
But no, I get what you're saying, because if you're from Minnesota, you don't know anybody that talks like Boomhauer. You don't know 20 people who are like Peggy Hill, who are constantly trying to speak Spanish, but they can't speak.
Here you do.
They don't know why it's funny that Bobby goes to Tom Landry Middle School.
Right. See, these are all real. God, that's such a good. Mike Judge is an absolute genius. Okay, so here's what happened to me today. This is why I'm so jacked up, because I got into a bunch of I blocked like 10 people. As a matter of fact, let me check in. Let me see where we are.
Every time you do this, you always go back, and it's like not as big of a deal. Like, why do you get this upset about it? Is this one of those?
I'm upset about this because this is not a big deal. This is not a big deal that started this whole thing. And do you remember last time it started because there was a video of a teacher yelling at a student and everyone was like,
oh, yeah. And all you asked was for context.
Yeah, what's the context here? Is this an improv troupe? What are we watching? Give me some context on what I'm looking at. And everybody's like, you don't need context if you can't make a judgment based on this 5-second video clip. And I'm like, oh, whoa. So it turned into a whole thing. All right, so wait, I'm checking. I got a lot of no. Okay.
Are you a Los Angeles Rams fan? I noticed the colors on the border there, because this is also the colors for Chapel Hill High School, my high school, and they're having a pretty good season. I appreciate the support.
No, what that is that's some Ukraine thing. That's just, and I'm not even intending it to be a Ukraine thing. It's just they offer it in support of Ukraine, and I like the color combo, so I just went with it. So, but yeah.
It does kind of match the background. I like that.
But I am a Rams fan. When I was little, I was a very big Rams fan. Go all the way back to the Pat Hayden days. Jack Youngblood was my favorite. Jim Youngblood, Jeweler Thomas. Oh my God, that team was great. I love that team. Because my Bears sucked. So I had to adopt me and all my friends around 1978 went, let's start looking outside Chicago for football teams to root for. And I chose the Rams. My friend Eric chose the Raiders. Another friend chose the Patriots, And then the Bears got big in a couple of years and we went back. All right, so here's what happened. James, there's a story circulating today about Vince Gilligan, creator of Breaking Bad, creator of Better Call Saul, one of the great television creators of the past generation. When you stand out, when a Vince Gilligan stands out in the golden age of television, that's a big deal, right? Because this is the best of the best. He's got a new show in development with Apple TV that is built for Rhea Seehorn, who played Kim Wexler on Better Call Saul. Kim Wexler.
Oh, I love her.
Isn't that nice? Not a spinoff, just a new show. And the way he took Bob Odenkirk from Breaking Bad and built an entire series, he's going to take Anna Gunn and he's going to build, or not Anna Gunn, he's going to take Rhea Seehorn and he's going to build an entire series around her. So wonderful. I love Kim Wexler. She's great. Good for her.
Right. Anna Gunn is Skylar in Breaking Bad, right?
Yes, which brings me to my next point.
Okay.
So I responded to this by putting a picture of Anna Gunn standing, as Skylar White from Breaking Bad, a picture of Anna Gunn, and I just put, and this broad ain't worked since Breaking Bad went off the air, right? Because I thought it was just interesting that I have long said that Vince Gilligan doesn't write women well, and that's fine because his shit's about violence and it's fine. He doesn't need to do romantic subplots. In fact, I'm glad he doesn't. It's one of the reasons I think he's so great. But because of this, he writes from a very male point of view, and it's very testosterone driven. And the women, even the lead roles that women occupy within the Vince Gilligan universe, are always just side characters. They don't really, why was Skylar, everybody hates Skylar. I don't get this. I don't get why the Breaking Bad community hates Skylar. So understanding that the Breaking Bad community hates Skylar, I should have expected, and I like Skylar. What's that?
She cheated.
Okay, but that doesn't justify. Kim Wexler is a con woman. She's a scumbag, come on. If we're looking for reasons to hate these characters.
But I love her.
I love them both. I think they're great. But essentially, they're the same character. They're the same actress. They look the same. They've probably known each other for decades because they've been on auditions together because they fit the same thing. Here's what we need. We need a blonde girl who's pretty, but not too pretty. Needs to be believable as a real person. We need somebody who's attractive in Toledo, not necessarily someone who's going to pop off the screen that no one's ever going to believe is going to be interested in Bob Odenkirk, a sleazy lawyer, right? So that's kind of that fits. I bet you Rhea Seehorn went up for the role of Anna Skylar. Skylar White, right? I can totally see that.
Yeah, I like this so far.
And Vince Gilligan has said before that, he has a type. Like when people have said, these are like two very similar actresses. Okay. So Better Call Saul goes off the air and he develops this new thing for Rhea Seehorn, which is wonderful. I like them both. And I simply just put a picture of Skylar White and said, and over here, this woman hasn't worked since Breaking Bad. Okay, so the Skylar White Breaking Bad community took that as me saying that Skylar, it was a joke at the expense of Vince Gilligan. It was a joke meant to say, well, obviously Vince Gilligan has a favorite, right? I was kidding. It was just tongue in cheek.
I hear you. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. You men, why do you men hate Skylar so much? Blah, blah, blah. Take this down, delete your account. You know, all of this kind of stuff. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But James, it gets worse. It gets worse because there's more to this story. I not only tapped into the Skylar White Defense Committee on Twitter, I didn't just irritate them. Apparently, they are overwhelmingly driven by trans people. Trans people are the ones who seem to be most ardently defensive of who Anna Gunn, a.k.a. Skylar White, how she's portrayed on social media. So, dude, I have got all of these crazy trans people that aren't crazy because they're trans. They're crazy because they're going to war with a total stranger over a joke that they completely missed. Okay, that's why they're crazy. Pugs is out of the stream saying trans people are crazy. Some are. Some non-trans people are crazy too. People are crazy. Crazy don't give a shit what you think you are. Crazy is crazy. So I've been deleting these people back and forth. One of them goes, "Are those the only two women you know?" This is somebody whose pronouns are he and her. So this person, a person whose pronouns are he and her, is now coming after me on Twitter going, "Are these the only two women you know?" To which I responded, "What exactly is a woman?"
Define woman. I love that one.
How can you define a woman? Right, that was my response. Oh man, that opened the floodgates. Simply because, here's my profile picture. I'm like bald, middle-aged white guy.
Yeah, so everybody hates me. Yeah,
everybody hates me. So for the last hour, man, I have just been playing whack-a-mole with these fucks. I am so.
You're crazy.
Now I'm transphobic. This wasn't. You are the people who brought you happening to be just right. So now I'm like, you're a transphobe. How am I a transphobe? We're talking about Breaking Bad. To my best awareness, neither Skylar or Kim Wexler are trans people. Those actresses are born. How did this even become a trans conversation? And then the person's like, "Because you said you don't define women and you're being a smartass." I go, "That's because you asked me if these were the only two women I know." These are crazy people. Certainly not all trans people are crazy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying these fucking people are crazy. They can't process regular information. They're so geared up and so triggered and so ready to fight with everybody over everything. Oh God. So I blocked about 10 people in the last hour, and they're still coming in. Hey, let's see what the latest is. James, shall we?
I love this. Yeah. Whenever you go fishing for crazy people on Twitter, you're always gonna, as long as you bait your hook correctly, you're gonna catch some good fish.
Let's see. What's this one? What's the latest one? So here's also. Anyway, here. All right, I will just show you,
bro. This is great.
I will just show you one of these people. Okay, this is the one. I haven't blocked this one yet because
can't somebody share this with like a trans group and have them just hate us and pass it around like we're?
I don't want trans groups hating us. I don't want anybody hating me. I don't have any judgment against any of that stuff. You keep that stuff to yourself if you want it. I don't want that nonsense.
Crazy people could at least share.
Yeah, crazy people is fine. Yeah. Yeah, crazy people. Crazy people are
fun.
Hate
me so much. Why don't you show everyone how much you hate me by sharing?
Okay. This is, I guess, the latest one. That's 31 minutes ago. And I don't know. I thought I blocked this person. Maybe this is one that I kill live. Okay. So they send me this. Because remember, I said, meanwhile, this one hasn't done anything since Breaking Bad. Remember, the joke is that Vince Gilligan is developing a show for Rhea Seehorn, a person who I've long said is the same actress as Anna Gunn. Very similar. So this person now sends me this. Anyway, holding an Emmy for Breaking Bad. This neither supports her point I mean, I said she hasn't done anything since Breaking Bad, but this is how she argues. James, how do you go back and forth with people who don't fight fair? I mean, this is not what I said. Yes, I'm aware she won an Emmy for Breaking Bad. My point was she hasn't done anything since.
Okay, so look, there's an algorithm to this. I have the trolling down to a science. First off, click on the person who posted this, and if they have less than 100 followers, you ignore them. You don't ever reply to anyone. They're not even a human being until they have 100. If they have less than
here's
1,000,
what I'm doing.
you really don't even have to do it then. But what do they have? What does that say?
740. This one appears to be the ringleader. This is Mio. He, she. I don't. I have no interest in getting into an extended brawl with this person, but they arguing with somebody when they didn't get the joke. They did. Okay. Also, James, I'll have you know that about 15 people sent me Anna Gunn's acting resume post Breaking Bad. And they believed that this was going to make me go, oh, no, you're wrong. You're right. She did an episode of NCIS once. You know what I mean? She's done she was on, Anna Gunn was arguably second lead, the female lead of what is debatably one of the 2 or 3 best television shows ever. You would think that after it went off the air, that may have led to, I don't know, some movie roles or maybe an opportunity to break out. My point is, she didn't do anything. She didn't get another series where she was the lead. She didn't start showing up in movies. What she did do is a whole bunch of stuff that nobody has ever heard of. And that's kind of my point. And then a bunch of people started sending me stuff going, she did this, she did this. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you try to live off the residuals from that garbage. I mean, am I wrong? Did Anna Gunn go off to be? Would you even know if I had said to you before any of this? I said, who's Anna Gunn?
What's the resume?
All right, let's look at this. Let's look at what she is.
Is it like a Bed Bath & Beyond commercial or something?
It's bad but it certainly isn't. She's not doing Scorsese movie. She's not getting cast in big box. She hasn't been nominated for something other than the role that she had. Okay, let me see.
All right, look, Gare Bear over here. You see this comment? You want to throw that up on the screen?
Hold on, Gare Bear. Get into your nonsense. What's Gare Bear doing? Oh, this one here?
Yeah, show.
Okay. There we are. But now people aren't going to tip the show. It's okay. They aren't tipping anyway. They think that since I got mansplaining that they just pay me in a gold bag when I walk in. We need help getting through the month. And then that's it. And we won't need tips anymore. All right. What is Gary saying? Gare Bear. You don't seem transphobic, just trans obsessed. I'm LGBTQ, and this is too much trans for me. Well, that's unfortunate.
No, first off, which one are you? I doubt you're an L, Gary. I doubt you're an L.
I don't know what to do for you, Gary. I'm sorry. This is something big that happened to me, and I'm not transphobic at all. I don't give a shit. Okay, so here's what she did. Should we look at film? Okay, so when did Breaking Bad end? Let's see here. 2013. So let me look at the films. Coming off Breaking Bad, which, one of the biggest television shows, you would think that could catapult anyone into getting some opportunities, right?
Oh, yeah, it worked great for Aaron Paul.
She was in a movie in 2016 called Equity.
I never heard of it. It sounds awful.
Never heard of it. She was in Sully. She had a small role in Sully. That was the Tom Hanks one. Remember Sully about the plane? Let me see where she's listed in the cast. Because
that's all right.
Let me see. Okay, so she's listed sick cast, but okay, I don't think any of us remember Anna Gunn's performance in Sully. Do you? I mean, come on.
No, I didn't watch that because I already knew how it ended.
Yeah, I don't remember anything from that. I mean, I guess it was a good movie. She's in a TV show on Amazon Prime, I think, called... Oh, no, she was in a 2008 American comedy film starring Jim Gaffigan called Being Frank. You ever heard of that?
That's 2008, though. That's before Breaking Bad.
No, that's 2018.
Oh,
18. Yeah.
No,
and then in 2021, she did a movie just last year called Land of Dreams. Never heard of that. Okay, so now let's switch over to TV. That's just film. She's a TV actress. Maybe her TV career went ba-boom. Let's see. 2014, she was on a show called Grace Point, where she played a detective for 10 episodes. That is not befitting the second lead in what is debatably the greatest television show ever made. She's now doing 10 episodes on a show called Grace Point. She was in Portlandia for an episode. She was in Criminal Minds for an episode. She did Deadwood the movie, but she was in Deadwood before Breaking Bad, so they brought her back. She was Timothy Oliphant's wife. They brought her back. Cheers to you. And Prodigal Son. That's it. There you go. That's her acting resume since Breaking Bad. I stand by my point that she hasn't worked since Breaking Bad. My point obviously wasn't to be taken literal, like she hasn't worked. My point was Anna Gunn kind of fell off the radar. What are you doing? What's that? What are you looking at?
It just looks like it's replaced my head, like you're talking to this
That's
troll guy
fun.
now, because it's the same size as my head.
All right, so where are we now? Do we got anybody else? Let's see here. Man, I'm thirsty. All right, James, you got anything? Because that's it. I'm gonna divorce myself from this entire conversation and hope that these people leave me alone. What's going on with you?
Wait. I still don't understand where did the trans overlap come from. I thought you were going to explain that, and you never did. There's no explanation for why there's such a strong
just
trans
a coincidence. Just a coincidence that the first person to call foul on my "Why didn't Vince Gilligan give Anna Gunn a show?" comment was trans. And then when that person started to be difficult, me and this person got involved in a little back and forth. And then she apparently got on the phone, or they got on the phone, want to be respectful. They got on the phone and all their friends involved. And then suddenly I'm overwhelmed with like people with Breaking Bad things, on their profile pictures. And they're all like using pronouns in a way that I don't. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's fine. I'm a man of advanced age. I am trying to just, skate through the rest of my life without getting into a fist fight in a parking lot with a dude in high heels, right? I'm just trying to escape the madness. But that's it. Yeah, there was no real, it was just coincidence. And then suddenly I'm like public enemy number one for the Breaking Bad loving trans community, which didn't even know existed till an hour and a half ago.
That is weird how they tend to glom on to certain aspects of, cultural flashpoints or lighthouses or whatever what have you, that they just circle around.
Here's an interesting one. Says, point is, she's not Edie Falco, who followed up Sopranos with Nurse Jackie. I don't know if she is Edie Falco or not. And when you say she's not Edie Falco, I think you're talking about talent level, which is,
just
maybe
career success comparison.
Edie Falco was
maybe
already.
Anna doesn't want to do anything. Maybe Anna wants to hang out with her kids for 5 seconds because a show held her down for a decade, and no one blames her for that. So we're just talking about how many scenes does she have on the wall since her Big Bang? Because because
Vince Gilligan is developing a show for his other actress who is just like her. That was the whole point. Just a joke, just being snarky. I didn't want to get into a whole conversation about Anna Gunn suddenly make a choice to stay home and raise her kids. It's a beautiful thing, but that's not comedy. Making a joke, and I got my ass kicked.
Hey, so I wanted to run a list by you.
Yeah, go ahead. Give it to me.
All right. I have 21 things rich do every day that poor people don't do. You remember this list?
Wait, hold on. What's Tiffany saying? Tiffany, my girl Tiffany, sorry, Pugs. Passively, but not. And aggressively, also not really. But kind of flirting with J-Town. Who's J-Town? Who's she flirting with?
If she's flirting with me, that's fine. I know
that's
Tiffany.
Fine.
You know Tiffany.
Tiffany. All right, James, go ahead.
Oh, Tiffany. Mm-hmm. Did I do this on the show like about a year ago? Because this is a list. No, not the rich man, poor man. But this is a list I found like 5, maybe 7 years ago, and I like to do it about once a year because I kind of like to check myself on this list. Here, can I just throw it in like the little private chat box?
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
I want you to see it. Have a little. Does that work or is that too much?
Yeah. 21. Okay, 21 things. Yeah, I got it.
Is that all of it? Because I don't think it all showed up on my screen. Maybe
However, I'm going to make it small because I can't see your face because it covers up your face, the box. So just go ahead, hit me.
Wait. I've been working on my restream skills here, and I think I can.
All right, well, hurry up. We're burning daylight here, and
there it is. Yeah, here it is. You see it?
There you go.
Yeah. What? That's pretty cool.
All
right. Yeah, 21 things Rich do every day.
All right.
Is that readable? So
yeah. You don't want to keep this secret and present it? You want people to see the kind of because it's
I don't know, dude. Is it that? Here. Let's make it a little bigger. No, I just wanted to. We'll just scroll through it together. First off, I want to explain the list. What's a rich person? What's a poor person? This is when you divide people up by their income last year into quintiles. So the top 20% is rich people. The bottom 20% of income earners is poor people. So
okay.
it's basically, and I don't mean people that are zero. People that are handicapped or retired or children or whatever. These are people that had income last year. So the biggest earners versus the smallest earners. What did they do different every day when you look at their behavioral surveys? So number one, 70% of wealthy eat less than 300 junk food calories per day. 97% of poor people eat more than 300 junk food calories per day.
Why?
Well,
I mean, are you saying that's just a choice that poor people just choose to eat bad food? Or that good food is more expensive than junk food?
Well, see, the point of this list is the whys are secondary to recognizing the fact that these things exist. Mm-hmm. Now, we'll start asking whys when you get a little bigger diet of what this.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Yeah, I'll sit back.
Whys pop out.
I'll sit back. That's an obvious one to me. That makes perfect sense.
Sure. But listen. A honey bun has more than 300 calories in it. So wealthy people just don't eat honey buns. And we're not talking wealthy people like Brian Cox in Succession. The top quintile is people who are, probably like 140 grand a year in the household income. It's not a whole lot. Anyway, number two, 80% of wealthy are focused on accomplishing some single goal. Only 12% of poor do this. Number three, 76% of wealthy exercise aerobically 4 days a week. 23% of poor do this. And actually, I'm kind of surprised it's that high for poor people. Thoughts, or did I lose you?
No, I'm just listening. I didn't want to derail with my thoughts because cool. I mean, is this just a list that says, look how much better humans rich people are than poor people? Because that's what it looks like.
No. How about how
bad poor people are? Well, all this has to do with money, and
okay, but it could, but maybe look.
If you don't have a grocery store within 10 miles of your food desert town, you're probably only buying shit at the bodega. And guess what? They don't have a whole lot of vegetables there. So
see, that's such an intellectually shallow, thoughtless comeback. Like where I grew up, do you think that there's a grocery store within 10 miles?
Well, I think that you are also on the poor scale. You grew up in rural America. Yeah, if you did not have a grocery store, then yeah, you grew up in a piss poor area. You are of the poor people. So are you telling me you ate better? You were able to eat better? I mean, your family had jobs. I don't know how much money you made, but you chose to live remotely.
It's labeled a food desert.
No, you said you didn't. Yeah, if you don't have a grocery store within 10 miles, then yeah, it is. It's not the traditional use of the word food desert. Right.
Did you know that in the FDA definition of food deserts, the average person, the average citizen who lives in a food desert is actually closer to a grocery store than the average American as a whole? Anyway,
I didn't know that. I'm going to need you to cite that source, but okay. I'm sure you heard it somewhere.
I'm a crazy libertarian who reads on this stuff. Anyway, look, number 4, 63% of wealthy listen to audiobooks during commutes to work versus 5% for poor people. Number 5, 81% of wealthy maintain a to-do list versus 19% for the poor. Number 6, 63% of wealthy parents make their children read 2 or more nonfiction books a month versus 3% for the poor. Number 7, 70% of wealthy parents make their children volunteer 10 hours or more a month versus 3% for the poor. Number 8, 80% of wealthy make HBD calls. You know what that is?
No.
Happy birthday.
Oh, okay.
Versus 11% for the poor.
Huh.
9, 67% of wealthy write down their goals versus 17% for the poor. Number 10, 88% of wealthy read 30 minutes or more each day for education or career reasons versus 2% for the poor. Number 11, 6% of wealthy say what's on their mind versus 69% for the poor. I like that one.
When you don't have a boss, you keep your mouth shut. Okay. These are ridiculous. What is the point of this? That poor people suck and wealthy people are awesome?
No, how about awesome people have a tendency to succeed more often than people who are lazy or don't read or don't eat?
Oh, poor people are late. Okay, so that's it.
No.
So having 70. Okay,
Some
let's go.
of them
back up. Because
they are more likely to be lazy.
Yeah. Okay.
Than the rich people.
Okay. Go ahead. Keep going.
Number 12, 79% of wealthy network 5 or more hours each month versus 16% for the poor. Number 13, 67% of wealthy. Huh?
Go ahead. Helps to have a phone, but go ahead.
To have a phone. Poor people don't have a phone. People in the bottom 20% of income earners don't have a phone.
I think a lot of them are burners that are bought at the corner store. Yeah, absolutely. You see them all over the place in the inner city, in the streets. They just throw them out.
They can't network. They can't network because they have burner phones.
Why would you network if you don't have a fucking job? I don't get this, man. This is such a bullshit. Go ahead. Keep going. This is absurd, but keep going.
I love that it's making you so upset, though.
It's not. It's just,
number 13.
I can't believe that this is. Okay, keep going.
I think you have everything just completely backwards on its head. How about, look,
what you're saying is that wealthy people, succeed because of these habits. And I'm telling you that these habits are able to be practiced because they're wealthy in the first place. That's what I'm saying. You're talking about, percentage listen to audiobooks. Well, that's a leisure time activity. Okay. If you don't have leisure time because you're always hustling to make your electric bill, you're not going to sit around on a cozy Saturday afternoon and listen to an audiobook. I mean, these are fucking nuts, but go ahead. Go ahead.
The consideration is that more than 80% of millionaires are self-made, and they had these habits before they were millionaires. These are the habits that make
self-made.
These are the habits that propel people into the upper middle class. Look,
self-made how? So that means what? They came from the projects. They started out poor and they made themselves rich, or they started out upper middle class.
It means they inherited less than $10,000 from their parents.
Okay.
They didn't inherit anything from their parents. That's what that means. It means their parents weren't millionaires.
Okay. That's fine. There's a lot of you can be successful if your parents were millionaires. Although it does help if you're raised in an upper middle class suburb and you have all the opportunities and all that kind of stuff that you don't have when you grow up with a crackhead mom and a dad who's in jail and all of that stuff. So this is about opportunity. But go ahead, keep going.
So maybe the lesson here is don't do crack and have your kids in wedlock and raise them and
great lesson. That is great. So instead of having these people turn to these sorts of options, let's make sure that they have jobs and educations and all that kind of stuff like we haven't done for the last 70 years. James, you're acting like this is a choice, that poverty in America is a choice, that these people are just lazy sons of bitches and that they're worthless. That's essentially what this argument is, that if they would just listen to audiobooks, that maybe they would be able to make some money. James, are we about to have an edge morning viper fight?
Look, this is perfect. Look, the people that listen to audiobooks make their way up into the top quintile of income earners. People, they didn't start listening to audiobooks when they got to the top. They had these habits. These are habits that they didn't just start once they were successful. These are the habits that make successful people. These are the habits that if you follow them the other direction, you're more likely to go down the ladder. Now, people don't start at the top. Most of the people that are at the top now didn't start there. Most of the people that make, because look, we're talking about the top quintile, the top 20% of income earners. Like I said, that's like $140,000 a year. That's not anything spectacular. That's like the principal at your kid's elementary school, and the teacher is like the assistant manager at the Gap in the mall. I mean, it's not a whole lot. I mean, I'm not talking about people with private jets. I'm not talking about the guy.
No.
Okay.
No.
6% of wealthy watch reality TV versus 78% for the poor. Did I skip 13? I think I said that one. Number 15, 44% of wealthy wake up 3 hours before work versus 3% for the poor. 74% of wealthy teach good daily success habits to their children versus 1% for the poor. That one's so vague. Number 17, 84% of wealthy believe good habits create opportunity and luck versus 4% for the poor. 18, 76% of wealthy believe bad habits create detrimental luck versus 9% for the poor. Number 19, 86% of wealthy believe in lifelong educational self-improvement versus 5% for the poor. Number 20, 86% of wealthy love to read versus 26% for the poor. And number 21, 23% of wealthy gamble versus 52% of poor people gamble.
And what is this all? Where did you get this? Is this just your own research? You've been compiling this?
This was, if it was actually 20 things the rich do every day, but one of the stats had 2 of them, so I've split it up. I think it was in like U.S. News and World Report or something lame like that. If you search for 20 things, I'll try and find it. 20 things the rich.
No, don't worry about it. I don't care that much. I really don't. I fucking hated that segment. I mean, that segment was just.
I think that stuff's very inspiring, dude.
No, that's fucking stupid people, far right wing bullshit about the problems in this country concerning poverty. I fucking grew up on welfare, dude. I know what poverty is. I was raised by a single mom with a dead father. We lived in an apartment. I had the power turned off. I know what fucking poverty is. And I know that people aren't just fucking lazy. And that's really a sticking point for me. Now, my mom busted her ass. She went back to school. She got a good job. I mean, it must have sucked for her being 22 years old and suddenly a widow with a baby and nobody to fucking... She was an art student, for crying out loud. So I just understand. Maybe I just have a different perspective on the people who are trying to make it, who didn't get any kind of advantage in this world. I was lucky. I had grandparents who were wonderful, who stepped in and they helped out. I also understand that a lot of poor families don't have that kind of stuff. They don't have that kind of structure. So they didn't have the advantages. I'm grateful to those advantages that I have, and I recognize that they're not universal. That's my feeling on the poor in this country. And I hate the fucking rich. And you know that. I fucking hate the rich, which is weird because I live in Highland Park surrounded by some of the most vulgar displays of wealth that anyone has. This is not a good topic. Poverty in America is not a good topic for me. And this is why I don't talk about this shit.
See, it's weird. As I've gotten older, the whole hate the rich thing has changed a little bit, because when you're 18 years old and you say hate the rich, you're talking about some 60-year-old guy that's like your grandpa's age.
Yeah. You're talking about the guy who owns the local car dealership in town, who's driving around in his fancy cars and his big house on the hill.
Right.
Yeah, but no, I say hate the rich. I hate the 1%. No, I'm not talking about the fucking guy who's got like $1 million in the bank. I'm talking about Bezos. I'm talking about those guys. Those are the ones that I hate.
But we're not talking about those guys with this list. Like I said, the top quintile of income earners are the people who just live on the nice side of town. Basically, everyone who lives in the M streets is what we're talking about in Dallas. That's not incredibly wealthy. Hell, anyone probably inside of LBJ in Dallas has to have an income above 140 something K.
Jeff Ballard. Shut up, Jeff. You know what? Honestly.
He's poking you, dude. Don't fall for it. He's just poking you.
Yeah. Don't feel like being poked. I feel like banning people. Go ahead.
But the thing is once you get older and you start griping about the people who live on the nice side of town with nice houses, now we're starting to talk about people that we went to high school with or we used to work with. And so now we're talking about our peers. It's not some previous generation that's been stealing with us. It's people that started where we are and now they're ahead of us. And really, if you say eat the rich when you're as old as we are, it's kind of hard to not sound envious.
Well, and if you support the rich when you're not one of them, you sound like you suffer from Mansion on the Hill syndrome. Jeff Glenn's in a
I'm not talking about Jeff Bezos. I'm talking about the people that live on the nice side of town. I'm talking about the people that live in. I'm talking about my dentist is what I'm talking about.
Do you know? Yeah. So okay. So you. I guess maybe I failed to make the distinction. Although I think I just said Bezos and Elon Musk.
But that's not what we were talking about in that
closest
list.
friends are filthy millionaires.
Yeah,
So
but
obviously I don't hate the
that
rich.
list, listen, that list upset you. And in that list, if you associate
that attitude upsets me. That attitude that, here's how the poor people can fix it. If they just would stop being so lazy and gross. That's what that list was. And that's,
does your mom live in poverty now?
No.
How'd she get out of
it? Welfare.
Yeah, welfare. She just stayed on welfare the whole time?
No, she was able to pay the bills and support me while going back to school and, all of that stuff. What welfare was designed for,
Right. I hear what you're saying. But still, the point is that list got you upset, and you have a duality going here. If that list makes you upset, it's not because you're upset at Jeff Bezos. That's not who the top quintile is.
Yeah.
And so that is talking about the people that live in a nice subdivision, the people that live in the nice part of town, the people that, I mean, definitely your neighbors, but it's way even below that, the top quintile of income earners. I'm not talking about the people in grinding poverty versus Jeff Bezos. I'm talking to about the
middle class, essentially. I'm talking about the lower middle class. I'm talking about the working class in this country. I'm talking about blue collar America, which is where I come from. That was what we strive to be, members of the blue collar community. Just getting a job, a good paying job, a secure job. That was the goal. Right? That's where my mindset comes from. That's where I am grounded in. So, if you took a vacation, when I was growing up, if you went on vacation somewhere that didn't require, maybe a 2-hour car ride, if you actually got on an airplane, you were fucking rich to me. And you know what? The other people in my neighborhood felt the same way. I never went to Disney World. These kids, I know kids now today, friends of my kids, they go to Hawaii, they go to Aspen, they go to Disney World, they go to Jamaica, they go wherever the hell they want. And good for them. They're benefiting from the hard work of their parents. And I don't begrudge them that. But there is a whole other swath of America who looks at that and goes, what the fuck? That is not normal. So I don't know. Is it jealousy? Maybe to an extent that certain people have opportunities that I feel everyone doesn't have. Yeah, I guess in that regard, it would be. Yeah, jealousy. Sure. However, I also think it's an unfair playing field. And too many of you are just, willing to go, never mind. Never see. This is exactly what I don't want to fucking do with this show. I don't want to go and be a fucking revolutionary. But that really pissed me off. That entire list was poor people suck, and this is what they could do if they weren't such lazy poor pieces of shit. That's not what I got from that was.
At all. That's not what I see from that list at all. I find that list very inspiring. I find that list sort of like a checklist that I hold up in the mirror and say, James, are you doing these things? Are you watching more than 1 hour of TV a day? Are you wasting time watching reality TV? Are you networking? Are you reading for educational advancement in adulthood? Are you gambling? Are you eating junk food calories? Like, are you doing these things?
And you understand gambling is a symptom of a lack of hope, right? I mean, that's the hope, is that people gamble. If you have no hope, you may gamble your last $50 because what the fuck, you're going to jump off a bridge anyway. So poor people gambling isn't so much, I can't stop gambling. It's more, I'm out of options. I need something. That's what poor people gambling is all about. Have you ever seen a line for the lotto tickets in any neighborhood? It's a hodgepodge. It's every color, everybody is in line trying to get that one miracle ticket. So gambling, the way that list puts it out, it's like, yeah, they choose to gamble. They get $5 and because they're dumb and they're poor. No, chasing hope. And that's the last piece of hope they have.
Yeah. So also people who gamble are people who have poor risk assessment. Just in general, because there's plenty of poor people who don't gamble. There are plenty of people who are absolutely hopeless that don't gamble. And while that is what drives some people to gamble, there are other people who have a similar compulsion to gamble, and precisely because they've been able to curtail some of that and their other compulsions, they put themselves on a better pathway to success. Not guaranteeing it's going to happen, but just generally speaking, people who have a predilection toward gambling tend to fail at a greater rate than those who don't.
cool. I mean, I'm not going to have this conversation with you. You can't. We can't have this conversation.
Oh, I thought this was a very uplifting.
Oh, I'm the fucking mom. Now she's all bummed out because I misspoke. Okay, put this. I knew when I said that she was going to fucking freak out. Jesus. God. Hold on. Okay. All right. There you go. I wouldn't want that. I swear to God. All right. Leaving it up there for my mom. Guess it wasn't welfare. It was checks. We had to get checks. We had to get checks from the government. Did I misspeak?
This is how the universe is repaying me for not doing a Pugs mom joke in the monologue. I even had it was National Elephant Day, and I didn't do a Pugs mom joke, and the universe is already repaying me for my improvement. See, this is what happens when you check yourself against a list, Pugs, and you examine yourself. Am I doing something wrong? Is the reason because right now we're both probably in the bottom quintile income earners, and as we're trying to find our way to the top, here's things maybe we shouldn't do. Maybe we should lay off the junk food. Maybe we should exercise aerobically, read more, a little less gambling if you're doing that. I'm not doing a whole lot of that to begin with. But I mean, that's what I took out of this list. Not that poor people are idiots who make dumb decisions. That's not what I took out of this list at all.
Well, that's because you don't share the same worldview as me. You don't feel defensive over the plight of the poor in this country as I do. You don't give a shit, James. We've covered
you in a trailer. Get over yourself.
James, have we not established that you lack empathy, that you don't really care about other people? Whereas I'm kind of an emotional puss when it comes to that.
That's your excuse to explain the things about me that you don't understand. A guy without empathy, what? I didn't grow up poor. I wasn't in a trailer. I had a deer. That's how poor we were. I had a deer in a trailer. There's no empathy. So the kid
I had rats. All right, Mom, now tell the story about how you killed my rats and then lied to me about it. I'm now throwing my mom under the bus. My mom killed my rats when I was little. There you go, Mom. You want to start throwing dirt out? You killed my rats, or Ron did. And then I came home and you guys were like, your rats died of some weird rat disease. And I'm like 10 years old and I'm like, there's no weird rat disease. You killed my rats.
You think your mom murdered your rats?
Yeah, she didn't like my rats.
Have you accused this before? Is this a fresh accusation?
Hold on. I'm going to call her. No. I got to confront my mom about killing my rats.
When you murder a rat, though, it's like a nuisance critter. What the hell are you doing with the rat anyway? You had a pet rat?
I had pet rats, yeah.
What? Was that cool?
I don't know. I just wanted a rat. All right, let's see.
Did it bite you?
I got to make sure my mom's not mad at me because apparently I said welfare. And she doesn't deserve that because nobody has been through more than her. And she worked her way. She did exactly what those kinds of things are intended for.
Some people have been through more than her.
Give people... Really? Let's talk to Mom about that. She's been through a lot.
Holocaust.
Hello.
Why'd you kill my rats and then lie to me about it?
What?
I said, why'd you kill my rats and then lie to me about it?
What? How come you are calling me and I'm watching you?
All right, Mom, step out of the room. There's a delay. Talk to me on the phone. Okay.
Okay.
First of all, I am sorry for saying welfare.
Okay. Well, you make us sound like we're, dirt poor.
Did you, Mom, did you not listen to what I said? I said you were 22 years old and widowed. You relied on what was there, the social safety net, and you used it to make me look at the life you gave me. Nobody made you think that. You worked your ass off. I was praising you. And then you got bent out of shape on the word welfare. Okay. Social.
Yes, I did.
All right. Why can't I hear you?
I don't know. Why can't you hear me?
I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
No, doesn't she sound low, James?
She sounds a little low, but I can understand everything she's saying.
Oh, James.
Hi, Mary.
Hear me? When I come and see you guys, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Oh, okay. Wait a second.
That sounds so sweet.
Hold on. I'm picking up a little something. Mom, was it a celebration day today? Because you sound like you've had a couple cocktails.
Yeah, we had the end of summer party today.
I saw the videos on Facebook. I saw that little bucket game you guys played.
We had that yesterday and then another one today. Yeah. No, if I hear another fat Pugs mom joke, I'm telling you.
We can't hear you at all. Why can't we hear her at
We can
all?
all hear it. She said, if I hear another fat Pug's mom joke, I'm gonna, and then you turned her down. I wanted to hear the.
I didn't turn her down. I turned her up. She's cranked as high as it goes. All
I
right,
can hear
Mom,
that.
Yeah.
here's the question.
Yes.
Why did you kill my rats?
Well, okay.
You don't
Oh,
even
the
remember
rat.
killing my rats. Okay, so wait a second. Let me refresh your memory. I came back from a weekend at football camp, and you and that guy were sitting on the porch, and you told me that the rats died of some rat disease and that it was best for them and that you buried. And I was like, there's no rat disease. You people killed my rats. And I've never said anything about it. But now let's get into it. Why'd you kill my rat?
It was Bob Sylander. Remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You, your friends, your little boyfriends at 12 years old, they had this thing going on in somebody's garage where they all had mice. And, well, I hate to say it, but they wouldn't let you be involved. So you came to me and said, Mom, I want my own mice. And so we went to the pet store and we bought 2 mice. And I said to the guy, I said, I want 2 males. I don't want a female and a male. And he insisted that they were 2 males, and they were not. They were 2 pregnant females. And when you went away, there were like 85 rats born. And we had them all over the place. We had to kill them.
Wait a second. Wait a second. First of all, we didn't need the full backstory on how I was excluded from the little
Yeah.
rat fun in the garage of
I
the
think
other
that was
kids.
important. That was important exposition. Yes.
I have no idea. No, we all had rats. I don't know that I was excluded, but okay.
They weren't rats, they were mice.
Well, we called them rats. Okay. So Jerry and Jerry, those were the names that I gave. There was Jerry and Jerry because Tom and Jerry, they were both mice. So it was Jerry and Jerry. And you're telling me that I had an entire rat family when I was away at football camp and you slaughtered the entire family?
Yes. Yes.
Does it feel good to come clean after all these years?
I didn't slaughter them. Bob put them all in a pillowcase and put them down the sewer.
Oh, so maybe they survived. maybe they survived. Oh my God. James, they gave me this whole story. You know, and I'm 10 years old. And, well, there's a rat disease going around and they all caught it and it was terrible. Oh, and the details. Oh, their eyes were bleeding. Horrifying to me. And I was just like,
I don't remember that.
You were sitting on the patio with Ron.
Yeah, well, there's some third-tier civil engineer for the city of Chicago that just traced the great rat infestation in 1976 down, right?
Right.
Yeah, he did. He put them in a pillowcase and off they went.
So you just
no questions asked.
Neighborhood with like 80 rats? Like, do you just let a bunch of mice go in your neighborhood in Chicago?
Yeah, I guess
That's the
so.
worst neighbors ever. What a horrible thing to do. Kill them. You can at least drown them. Just tie a knot at the top of the pillowcase and throw it in a lake or something.
I didn't ask him what he did with the pillowcase. He took them out. They were gone. I was happy. They're gone.
You know what? Fuck Bob Sylander. That guy sucks. That guy killed my rats. No idea. I always liked that guy.
They were mice.
What happened to Bob? Why isn't Bob still around? Is Bob dead?
What?
Why did you break up with Bob, Mary?
Oh, no.
She wasn't dating Bob.
Okay.
No, I never lived Bob. He was just a friend.
Is Bob still alive or is Bob dead? Did somebody flush him down the toilet in a pillowcase? What's up with Bob these days?
I don't know. Wasn't there a thing with Bob and Stan? Remember Stan Pick next door?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. All right.
Okay, stop right there, Mom. Okay, so what my mom is doing now is she's telling me that there was a gay hookup between 2 dudes back in the 70s that I had no idea were gay, and she is now letting me in on something that I didn't know as a kid. Are you telling me that Stan and Bob Sylander were gay?
Well, not really, but that's what people thought.
Oh, whoa. What do you mean?
Is that a yes or a no? I don't know.
I don't know.
Did they do stuff?
I do not know. What else? I don't know.
All right. I love you, Mom.
Yes. No welfare
Oh,
ever.
Okay. All right. Government support. Fine. We're not going to call it welfare.
No.
Did we
Not
get checks from the government?
It was your father's earnings.
All right. All right. He was all right. There you go. You know what? I stand corrected, Mom, because I was a kid. So you knew. I just knew that we got these checks with this government thing. But you're right. My father was in the military when he wasn't active duty when he was killed, right? He was reserves.
No, it was Social Security anyway. It had nothing to do with military
But
stuff.
he had already but he got money for being in the military. I thought that being killed, and then I don't know. We don't need to go into all of this because it's obviously making my mom uncomfortable, which is weird because she should be very proud of what she's accomplished in her life, considering the way she was, the hand she was dealt.
I am, because things are really good now.
I know. I was going to play that video last night. You should see. She lives with all these older people, not old people, but older people, and you can see on the video it's not like decrepit old. They still have fun, and all they do, James, is especially in the summer, all they do is sit around and get wasted, and they just play these games and they make these videos. What?
We got wasted last night, and now tonight, and now I'm talking. This is not on the air, I hope.
Oh, it sure is.
No,
All right. All right. I love you, Mom. I'll let you go.
I love you too.
All right. Tell Eddie I love him too.
James.
Okay.
Bye, Mary.
All right. All right. Don't call her Mary. That is another thing we need to put out there. Do not call her Mary. Her name is not Mary. She hates it when people call her Mary. Her name is Mary Ann. Thank you. There you go. Mary is somebody else. So she killed my rats, and she finally admitted that she killed my rats, which is good because this has been, 40 years in the making of me going, killed my animals and lied to me about it and made it turn into a whole thing. All right, we're out of time, James. This was a good show. I like today's show. I liked it. I mean, you know me, I thrive on the awkward. So that was good. Got a little confrontational. It didn't go crazy confrontational because you're a pro and you know how to handle me. Don't go. Oh no, he thinks he fuck. I hate when he does this. I still had one more thing I needed to ask him and he just, God damn it, that's not cute. Jesus, this guy.
What?
Yeah, I wasn't done. I was about to ask you a question and then I was going to let you go. I hate when you do that. Oh, there he is. Oh, I like that better. There we go. All right. Thank you. Look at these back, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, I wanted to get into this. I wanted to talk about the new Dahmer series with you. We don't have time for it, obviously, but I had a thought exercise that I wanted to lay on you, that I wanted you to consider and give me an answer. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. First of all, are you familiar with the Netflix series with Dahmer?
I have not watched it. No, I know it exists, but I haven't watched it.
Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time unless you're into homoerotic torture porn, because that's what it is. It sucks.
So I'll be watching it then.
It's
I'm
just
totally
gross.
into that.
Ugh. But I had this thought last night because these guys were both not at the same time, but similar eras certainly in the same era, and they used the same hunting ground, right? Okay. So I had this thought last night, James, and I want you to think about this and give me this answer, okay? What if John Wayne Gacy had picked up Jeffrey Dahmer? Who wakes up in the morning?
Oh, dude. The thing is, if those two people could possibly meet, they might just get married and live happily ever after.
Really? You don't think they try and kill each other? Because both of them picked up, like John Gacy, he picked up gay young men and would take them back to his house and murdered them and then buried them in his walls. Jeffrey Dahmer would go and cruise the gay bar and pick up gay young men. So, you know, a bit of a 10-year difference between the two, you know, in their primes. But what if they had existed at the same time? Like, what if a John Wayne Gacy had picked up a Jeffrey Dahmer? How would that have gone down? Like, well, they both would have probably, but I mean, who wins? Who do you think is like the scarier serial killer?
Well, see, there's going to be this cute aha moment where they realize that they're talking to a a fellow crazy person, and you don't kill a fellow crazy person. Like if you're a thief, you don't steal from another thief. Y'all get together and you make a caper, And so just think, I don't know. I always find it amazing, like when you see these couples that like that weight lift and they're all huge, or they dress like pirates, or
weird couples that have the same weird thing in common. Yeah.
like the guy that lived on my block, that every time in New Orleans when it would flood, he would like take his kayak down the street, and it was funny like the first 4 or 5 times, but after the 6th time you hated him. And then right before I moved, he went down a flooded street in a kayak with a woman. I'm like, oh my God, he found his soulmate. He found a woman who likes to do that. And so I think it would be, if John Wayne Gacy and Jeffrey Dahmer found each other, it would be like that. And they'd be like, oh my God, someone who finally understands me. They'd give an apartment together, and it'd be like Perfect Strangers or Bosom Buddies or one of those other little buddy shows. And I mean, it'd be like from hell.
Yeah.
But I think they would be very happy if they found each other, and they would team up. It would be like the Rescue Rangers, but straight out of hell.
Well, here's what I think. Okay, because I've given a lot of thought, more thought than a normal person should. Here's what I've come up with. Okay, I'm very familiar with both. Very familiar. Like I said, one of my first jobs in radio was covering the Jeffrey Dahmer thing, being sent up to the morning he was captured or booked. And when the story broke, they put me in a car. I drove up to his apartment with all the media and did live reports from there. So I've followed that thing, the Dahmer thing, as just, as it being the jumping off point I see to my professional media career. John Wayne Gacy was the boogeyman of my childhood. I've always been obsessed with John Wayne Gacy, all the movies, and even Brian Dennehy's performance in the miniseries Gacy. Spectacular. Brian Dennehy, one of the nicest salt-of-the-earth actors ever, and he played Gacy. Oh, fantastic. Here's what I think. John Wayne Gacy was a big man. He was a construction worker. He was a strong man. He was a laborer. People didn't F with John Wayne Gacy. He was able to take 19-year-old athletic buff kids and handle them. You know what I mean? Be an 18-year-old victim who is, a young kid and probably a little athletic. John Wayne Gacy had no trouble subduing them, holding them down, all that stuff. So John Wayne Gacy, I think, has strength. Jeffrey Dahmer was kind of a pussy. I think Gacy would have, no pun intended, he would have eaten Dahmer up. I think that Dahmer would have been dead.
Well, no. In the relationship, he would have been the man, and Dahmer would have been the beta.
Bitch. Yeah. And and would John Wayne Gacy think Dahmer was weird for eating his people? Because John Wayne Gacy just buried the people in the walls and then lived with them.
And he would give him hell for it too. He would like, there's a Whataburger on the way home, Jeff.
You're so unhealthy. You've been eating so unhealthy, Jeff. All right, that was just something I thought. What if gay targeting serial killer John Wayne Gacy had gay targeted Jeffrey? What would have happened there? Who would have won? Who would have woken up? I think it's Gacy.
It would be like Wesley and Buttercup, dude. It would be like this long, passionate kiss that would blow all other kisses away.
Very nice. All right, there he goes.
Is that better? Is that sick enough for you? Is that what you needed?
That is exactly what I needed. There he goes. James Parker. Pugs and Parker proudly present Love to You, Tiffany. That's it. We got nothing. We got no more shows here. Oh, you know what? Hey, I have to throw a shout out to Jeff Ballard. Jeff Ballard was like the only one at the beginning of the summer. I said that I wanted to start doing these Friday night scanner shows, where I'm like, where we just listen to the scanner and we react to all the stuff that's going on. And it was going to be based around the insanity of the Chicago police scanner in the summer. And I just got final word. There's been a reason why I haven't done that show, that late night, let's listen to the scanner and talk about all the crazy stuff that's going on. It's because I just learned, I saw the story today. The Chicago Police Department a month ago switched over Now, they had done this in incremental pieces. Certain zones were switched over. They're not on the scanner anymore. They're not. I can't listen to anything. They switched over to some new digital thing, and now I got to buy new equipment if I want to be able to listen to the police scanner. So I had made a note that I wanted to mention that because I know that Jeff kept saying, yeah, Jeff's like, I'm still waiting for it. I'm like, yeah, I know, dude. I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to happen. But maybe, and that's the other thing. The big cities aren't on the scanner anymore. I don't know. I guess they know that there's people like me now with social media that are, mirroring and echoing their every report. And I don't know. Maybe it's for the best of the community, but I know it's no fun anymore. It's no fun. Why can't I listen to live police calls as they're unfolding in America's most violent cities? So anyway, like as of today, I guess the entire system is now switched over to digital. Okay, love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow at noon, okay? For high noon, topics, current events, headlines, trends, whatever it is people are talking about. We'll see you then. I love you all. It was nice having my mom stop by, even though she looked like she had a couple. It's late. Look. My mom is the most badass woman in the world. What she did raising me and what she was able to accomplish on her own as an art student, as a widowed art student. You can't make any money with art. She had to switch everything. So when I make fun of my mom for being, a little bit in the bag at 10:16 on a Thursday, she's retired. She lives in a party community and she is having the time of her life. She's allowed. Not you people. You people got to get up and go to work in the morning. See, she has done that for the past 50 years. Now she gets to have fun. She gets to be a little buzzed by 11:45 a.m. That's why you work your whole life. The best is yet to come. Jeff says, shows like tonight is why I contribute every month. Yeah, tonight was a fun show. Tonight I'm like, I liked it. And by the way, I was reading a couple of things. For those of you who aren't familiar with my the stuff that I've done in the past, I've always worked with a partner. And don't get freaked out when I start going at James like that. And if you notice, did you see the way James handled me? James knows exactly how to handle me. James knows how to just tweak me enough to get me ranting, to get me bouncing off the wall. It never goes that's not real. I mean, it's real in the moment, but it's not like going to carry over. So, I mean, people who are used to maybe the old show with Pugs and Kelly, you know that Kelly and I got into that kind of weird awkwardness every single day. And it never, in a commercial break, devolved to that radio fight that we had earlier in the week. It was never name calling. It was just, let's get each other so keyed up and so on the edge that it's fun because it's anything can happen next. But then, be professional enough to go, wow, thank you for allowing me to do that. And then, you move on with life. That's what James is great for. That's why James and I have such good chemistry, because we agree. There's a lot of things we disagree on, and we can yell at each other and then just go, yeah, but I like him. Yeah, but we're friends. We've been friends for a long time. He's funny. He makes me laugh. And he has no empathy. I'm sorry. I'm going to stand by that one. All right. I love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. High noon right here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Bye, everybody.